All right, hello everyone. My name is Bianca Brooks, and today I have the pleasure of interviewing Tomike. And how do you pronounce your last name?
Ogugua.
Ogugua. Now, what does Tomike mean?
Tomike. Well, some people say Tomike, especially like back in my Chicago days. We get to that later, but all of them used to pronounce my name Tomike. So it just reminds me of back in the day when I was pretty much first starting out. But my first name means to thank God in Igbo. That is the language that my parents speak. That is the tribe that I'm from. Simply means thank God or thank Him. And it's funny because when I talk to other Nigerians that happen to be Yoruba, they're like, that's a Yoruba name. That's a Yoruba name. And I'm like, I'm Igbo though. I don't know, you know. Of course, my last name means to have, to be compassionate or, you know, to have compassion. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So you speak Igbo?
A little bit. A little bit.
Nice.
I know a few phrases. I'm not fluent in anything like that, but you know, I always like to try to greet other Nigerians by saying like "kedu," and I'll be like, and they'd be like, "I did." Yeah, "kedu." You know, so like if we were meeting for like the first time in a couple of days, or just you know seeing someone for the first time for the day, we say "kedu," and then you would respond "adema." You know, yeah. So it's hello and hello, how are you? You know, that sort of thing. So. Yeah.
Okay, I'm Haitian. We say "sac passe."
Sac passe, yeah. So yeah, y'all are cousins.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, you're cousins. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, have you ever been to Nigeria?
Unfortunately, not.
No.
No, not yet.
No?
It's coming.
Nigeria
I know.
is beautiful.
I know. I see the pictures. I talk to my family all the time. On you know, on my dad's side especially. We stay in contact. You know what I mean. So I see pictures and all the celebrations, and I'm going to get there. One of these days, I'm going to get there. Nigeria, peace. Niger. You know what I mean? We're gonna get there, but I'm just proud, you know, to be of a people with, you know what I mean, such a deep history and deep roots. So, yeah.
All right. So, since you were raised here, particularly in North Carolina,
Since you
were raised in America, were your parents more Americanized or?
Oh no.
No.
Oh no. They, you know, my mom is definitely a traditionalist. Like, it's because of my mom I know like bands such as like Osita Osebede and his Nigerian sound makers. You know, she never played Fela in the crib though. I didn't find out about Fela until a little later on. But she would always be playing what they call high life music. You know, like she didn't play Afrobeat, she played like high life music. So that, and you know, this big live instrumentation, you know what I mean? So that's what I grew up, you know, listening to when my mom played it. But my mom, you know, was very heavily into like R&B and hip hop, you know, so New Edition was like one of my first memories of my mother playing music in the house. The Candy Girl album, as a matter of fact. So, you know, shout out to New Edition, man. Part of my childhood, you know.
Nice. Okay, so how did you get into acting?
How did I get into acting? Great question. I was an undergrad at North Carolina A&T State University. Aggie Pride. I gotta say it, I'm sorry. It's part of me, man. I gotta represent. So I went to a HBCU called North Carolina A&T State in Greensboro, North Carolina. I was a communications major at the time. And as part of the coursework, I had to take a speech class, and there were a bunch of theater majors in that speech class. So that's pretty much how I got exposed to the environment of being in the mix with like other artists that were constantly like creating on an everyday basis. So when I went to the speech class, all the theater students like just would be jumping in and out of characters and like doing scenes and skits for class assignments, and I was like, I want to do that. And so the next semester I took an acting for non-majors class, and subsequently changed my major the following semester and pushed my graduation date back an entire year because, you know, I found my calling. And this is what it was.
Okay, that's actually actually very interesting that you went to school in North Carolina, because a lot of people, when they want to become actors, they go to Juilliard or NYU Tisch or, you know, some other schools. So why didn't you move to New York sooner?
You know at the time, I don't want to say anything like I didn't know any better, because that would just be like foolish, but I got some solid training. We had a very, very talented department, and I was just one of those people that just wanted to improve every day and work hard, because I literally like didn't know anything about theater, anything about acting. Like, I was one of these people that was like, I'm just gonna do it, you know what I mean? And,
like the Nike commercial.
yeah, and just, right, and just go hard, and, fortunately, it worked out for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you said you also spent some time in Chicago before coming to New York, right?
Correct, yeah. Wow, yeah, Chicago, yeah. So basically, when I graduated from A&T, I got recruited to go to a grad school, and it did not work out. However, I had applied me.
It worked out. You're sitting here on this show, so.
No, so no, it didn't work out. So my plan B was, I'm in Chicago. I'm in one of the greatest theater cities on the planet. What I would do is I would get a job during the day and do theater at night. So that's what I did.
So what did you do during the day?
Oh my God! So I was a bill collector.
Ah,
Yeah, I used to have to
you're
repeat.
one of those.
I used to be one of those. Yeah, I used to have to repeat the FDCPA. I believe those are the initials. So basically, there are federal guidelines that bill collectors have to abide by. Otherwise, you can get sued. The company you're working for can get sued. It's just a whole thing.
Wait, were you the kind who used to show up at people's door?
No. We call.
Oh, okay.
No. We call. So
Like, dang, you were aggressive out there in the field.
no. We call. Be like, hi, yeah. Yes, my name is Tomike, and yeah, we're just trying to get this bill situated here for you. See if we can work out something for you. Before I go on, I must say that this call would be recorded, and and give the whole spiel. You know what I mean? Because by law, there are certain things you have to say to start the call. And so I sort of use that as like my training in voice, because sometimes I would like do different voices, and for lack of feeling redundant, I go into different characters and then like just get real silly with it, and it was a way to also like use my voice. I felt at the time in a meaningful way that was aiming toward, my craft. So it was some rough times though.
So how do you feel when you look on the news and you see all this devastating news that is happening in Chicago?
I mean, that's a lot to unpack. Chicago's number one. It's a beautiful city, architecturally, like it gets beautiful. However, it is cold pretty much like 9 months out of the year. And I'm talking about like brick, and I think, the weather.
You're a real New Yorker now because you said brick.
Oh, I was saying brick in North Carolina. We were saying that in North Carolina, So, yeah, it's all East Coast. Oh. It's all, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think the cold affects how people behave, because it's literally cold there like most of the year. And then when it does warm up, it gets to the extreme, you know what I mean? But yeah, Chicago's where I earned my stripes though, so it's my second home.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, how do you like New York?
Love New York. New York was the goal. New York was the goal. Once I spent a certain amount of time in Chicago, I really felt like it was time to expand, and especially if I wanted to do television and film work. At the time, you had to be in either LA or New York. Now, you got Atlanta that's popping, you got New Orleans that's popping. Chicago has really picked up steam because there were some shows shooting in Chicago, but not the way it is now, But I love New York. I mean, New York is where I really got my grown man on, I was able to start a career here, develop some relationships. New York is where my daughter was born. Shout out to my daughter Suleika. Daddy loves you.
Oh, Soleil is a beautiful name. Wow.
Yeah, Suleika. Yeah, she little girl, something else though. So she's just like me. It's scary. It's scary. But it's a beautiful experience being a father. Just helping to instill something in another human being, and actually, it's almost like watching your own heartbeat run outside of your body. Like it's like an out of body experience. So if you
Actually sounds a little nerve-wracking. Because then you kind of
is.
worry about your kids, and you can't keep your eyes on them at all times.
Listen, hey, it's a job. That's what's required. You know what I mean? So I'm fortunate to be a dad, and it's a beautiful experience. And she's been in the arts practically since she was an infant. She's like primarily a dancer. We're gonna get that acting and that theater in there at some point. But yeah, she's a dancer.
Nice. Are you a dancer?
I have, but I am not.
Oh.
I am not. I mean, I did a little, musical work when I was an undergrad. And we used to have to like dance, but like I'm not a dancer. I'm not a dancer. Yeah.
So if we ask you to bust a move right now, no. Okay.
No.
So since you do theater, there is a push now for ensemble cast members to be recognized as well. How do you feel about it?
I honestly don't really have an opinion on that. I think it's always great to be recognized for your work. It's always great to be acknowledged for the hours that you put in and for the sacrifices, definitely, that we undertake. So, yeah, I'm all for it, though. I mean, I'm not against it, yeah.
All right, so what is your favorite play that you have ever done?
Favorite play that I've ever done? See, that's a lie. That's a lie of, woo, wow. I can't have just one favorite. Can I have more than one favorite?
More than one favorite.
Can I just
Absolutely.
give you like...
You can have multiple favorites.
Like top 3 or top 5 or something?
Sure.
Number one, so, we're at the fabulous Brick Media Arts in downtown Brooklyn. Directly next door, I did Julius Caesar with Royal Shakespeare Company. And bam, that had to be like my favorite theater job ever. Favorite. I learned so much. And, just working with a bunch of black British actors, man, they were at the top of their game. And them, like, embracing you as part of the cast when they're just here for a brief stint, on that tour. I really learned a lot and gained more of an appreciation for Shakespeare that I had previously. And, man, those guys were like dynamite. That cast was crazy, and I had fun. I got to go on that stage 8, sometimes 9 times a week and do African dance and sing and be a part of this great story that was set in East Africa. That was the Royal Shakespeare Company's first time ever with like an all-black ensemble. And I was part of it. That was my favorite job for so many reasons. So many reasons, yeah.
So if they do it again, would you do it again?
I would do it again, probably a different role.
Okay.
Probably a different role, but I would definitely do it again, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of you guys, I know you recognize him because he was on Power.
Oh.
Yes. I'm sure you get recognized on the street like, are you? Yeah, oh my gosh. I'm sure you do.
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, it's nice. Like I said, it's nice to be recognized for your work. Are
there ever any days where you're like, I'm not feeling the way I'm looking and I wish this person didn't notice me?
I haven't had one of those moments yet. But, things going the way they're going, I probably will have a moment like that. And I'm looking forward to that because that means I'm doing something right. But yeah, for right now, I'm just trying to live in the moment and take advantage of opportunities as they come. As you know, this isn't an easy game. Like, there's a lot of rejection. And I'm not gonna even lie. Sometimes, I do experience, periods of like self-doubt and frustration. I do, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna sit here in front and say that I don't. But then I remember all the blessings that I do have, all the things that I have been able to do and accomplish. And my wonderful hometown of Durham, North Carolina, that always has my back and roots me on. I know I have an entire community in North Carolina rooting for me. So, to know that you have that kind of support, that's what pushes me. I represent the people that don't have a voice. I've been blessed to have a platform and to speak, about issues and to issues that really affect me and my community. And so that's what means the most to me. So that's why I push so hard and I work so hard so that I can bring attention to things that matter to me in the community that I came out of.
Okay, well, how was your time working on Power?
Oh my God, it was the best, yo. Like the first time that I did the show, I was on set all day with Joseph Sikora, who obviously plays Tommy. He's just a gentleman. That's all I can say. He was just a gentleman. He's nothing like his character. That's what makes it so dope. He's nothing like Tommy. Yeah, just a super dope guy. And then he's from Chicago, so between takes we like have conversations about our roots to Chicago theater. Because I was doing a bunch of theater in Chicago, and he obviously was born and raised there and went to school out there. So we knew a couple of people in common and a few other theater companies and stuff like that. So that was cool. But yeah, it's just getting to spend like all day, with like one of the top characters from the show, and just to glean from and learn from. It was incredible. It was incredible, and shout out to Courtney Kemp and that team for the opportunity.
Wonderful,
Yeah.
wonderful. Now, I actually did work on Power as an extra, and they have really great food. So I know
food is awesome.
I know that was a great time.
Yeah, food is awesome. Yeah. And then then they called me back for season 4, and I got to open up the season with Amari, and just to hear my voice as the first voice you hear, what I mean, when I'm ordering goes to, what I mean, empties pockets and all that. That was another wonderful experience. Like Amari never got out of character with me. He was ghosting the entire day with me. And then, between takes, he would tell me things that helped my performance when he really didn't have to. So shout out to Amari Hardwick, man. That's a good brother that deserves all the success he's receiving right now. But yeah, man, working on the show is great. And, my condolences to that cast and crew for that crew member that passed away. That was tragic. But yeah, I'm just looking forward to what they have in store for the upcoming season. But I know right now, they're dealing with kind of sensitive. So.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, what has been your favorite television role?
Favorite television role? Marsha Mason on Stars Power.
All right, he said that right.
Marsha Mason. Just a journey, just to go from, having a character who's, at first only known as U.S. Marshal, and then they invite me to do the show again, and then they give my character a name. You know what I mean? Getting the word from my agent that, yeah, they gave you a name, and here's an updated script. You know what I mean? It was very exciting, to be on a show of that caliber, because previously I had just done a bunch of reenactments on ID Channel and Lifetime, and so I felt like I was the reenactment king for a while. Until I actually booked Power, and Power actually made me SAG eligible. And, so I was able to qualify, to become a part of SAG-AFTRA. So that was the blessing, It's also just a reminder that this journey, it really is a journey, you know what I mean? It's really steps. There's no shortcut to this. Like, you got to pay your dues, you know, and hopefully people just respond to the work.
Okay. So do you prefer film and television or theater?
Whatever I'm working on at that moment. If I'm happy and I'm working and, you know, I'm making a living, doing what I love, whatever it is at that moment, you know, like I said, I can relive doing the show at Royal Shakespeare Company again and again and again and again and again. Like, I used to want to do cartwheels all the way to the theater when I got here. Like, it wasn't even.
You can do cartwheels?
Oh yeah. I can at least do a cartwheel, but I won't. Not on camera here, but I can do them.
Well, no, you're all mic'd up and everything, and then we don't want the camera to knock over, and we're like, dang, we cannot invite Tomike back if he keeps ruining our equipment.
I know, right? Be kicking stuff over. Yeah. That show really, for me, is really what inspired me to, like, keep going and know that I was doing the right thing. So yeah, like I said, we got power. You know, I really loved that role. Wow, just so much. I remember the very first thing I did on television. I did a reenactment of the Sean Bell story, just because of the subject matter. You know how that affected everyone. You know, and we just wanted to do it justice. And you know, again, that's when it sticks with me because it happens to be the very first national television show that I did. It happened to be about Sean Bell, you know what I mean, a guy who senselessly lost his life because of, you know, police misconduct. So that's another one. There's just been so many moments. You know, there are like certain directors that I was able to work with, like in readings, and other actors that I look up to. That I've been blessed to work with. So yeah, it's just a mix of events that have made this an adventure, you know?
Okay. Well, a lot of people have talked about how hard the acting industry is, and, you know, sometimes people will audition over and over again and they possibly won't book a role. And, you know, I was even watching some actors' interviews. Some of them, they'll go from being on a major show where they were a main character or a supporting character, and then they won't get work for 5 years later. How do you feel about that?
Oh man, you know, that's the ebb and flow of this business, unfortunately. You're absolutely right. You can be hot one minute, and then the next minute, you're not, you know, the flavor of the week, as they say, anymore. This way, gotta continue to train. You know, me. I've been lucky to have like mentors around me to stay on me. My mentor, Jerome Preston Bates, who's on Broadway right now with American Son. He's part of that cast. And every time we meet up, you know, whether or not he's like running lines with me to make sure I'm on point for an audition or whatnot, he's always like telling me things like, yeah, pay attention like to your diction, watch your diction, Tomike. Just little things like that, you know what I mean? Because that kind of stuff can get away from you. You know, and I just have so many wonderful people around me that I'm able to learn from. You know.
Now, what do you feel is the solution for actors? Because obviously, none of us can go 5 years and not pay our bills. You know, we'd be in big trouble.
The solution for actors, you gotta have different streams of income coming in. You know, I don't know anybody that just, you know, makes money doing one thing. You know, like for instance, if you're an actor, I know actors that are models. You know, they make modeling money, so they're able to do that play that doesn't pay.
Well, the modeling business is not as, you know, supportive. I mean, I do know actors who do model as well, but
right.
That is just like that. You might not book. You might go on a go-see. You might not.
Oh yeah, it's true indeed. Yeah, true indeed. But what I'm saying is, you know, you have more than one way to make money. You can't solely just rely on the acting. You know, you have actors that also write, you know, and become playwrights and screenwriters. You know, some branch out into directing, you know. So it just depends on where your strengths are. But you know, they say the average like millionaire has 7 different streams of income. You know, so you know most wealthy people, they don't just make money doing one thing. They have their hands in several things or in several industries to keep money coming in. So that's the key. You know. To not just rely on acting, like create some kind of business for yourself.
Creating your own work, yes.
Yeah, creating your own work as well, definitely, yeah.
So do you write or?
I actually produced one of the last films I was in. Actually, so I'm in a film called Voice of Reason, and I actually just won Best Actor for at the Atlantic City Cinefest Down Beach Film Festival.
Nice.
Yeah, and I just felt like at that time I needed a vehicle to show more of what I could do. So I found an investor to invest into a film, and we shot it, and you know, I hired myself. So you're absolutely right.
Yeah, you hire yourself.
I hired myself, and then I hired my good buddy Jamil Mangan, who knocked out his role, which made me a lot better. You know, so yeah, so I share that award with that entire cast, Jamil and Isaiah Chambers, who was from London. He actually flew in, young man from London. It really helped us out tremendously. You know, so I share that award with them because they made me that much better.
Nice. Do you have any upcoming projects?
Yeah, so I just wrapped a film called Caviar, which is sort of like a crime thriller based on some Russian mafia kind of business. So we're looking for that in 2019 to drop. I just shot like a music video of the very popular hip hop artist. I don't know when that's gonna come out. So just did that. Also have a web series called Effed Up and Fabulous, written and created by my girl Kylie Turner. So those are just a few of the things that are gonna be dropping.
Oh, you're a busy man.
And yeah, I'll try to be.
Well, we're happy to see that you stay working. All right, is there anything else that you would like to share with us?
Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for coming on the show.
Yeah.
And how can we keep in contact with you?
Keep in contact with me. All right. So on Instagram, my name is Tomike OG. So that's TOMIKE OG. That is the easiest way to contact me on Instagram. I'm also on Twitter at Tomike Lee. That's TOMIKE LEE, and on Facebook at Tomike Ogugua. So those are the 3 primary ways you can get in contact with me. Oh, that was 4. 3. Yeah. So yeah, I look forward to hearing from you and engaging with you and interacting with you, and let's let's work.
All right, wonderful. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. And guys, make sure that you subscribe to youtube.com/tradingphotos, and you can subscribe to my personal YouTube channel at youtube.com/BiancaBrooks.